It's the final week before the first patch of Midnight. We're going to get into that today. Also, some Mythic Plus news, right? Mythic Plus been out for a little while this week. Season 1, we're getting into the groove here. We're going to look at not only kind of the biggest pumpers right now in Mythic Plus, but also the most popular classes to play, the current meta, everything else. So let's just jump straight in here. First off, we got 12.0.5 dropping on April 21st, which means this is the final week of the launch patch, I guess you could say, of Midnight. So 12.0.5 bringing quite a bit of content here. It's a busty one, big boy for a 0.5 patch. So we'll talk about some of the features going down the line here later today. But for now, just know the patch is going live on April 21st. It'll bring a few changes. Interesting outdoor world content, some interesting 5-player instance content, and a few other things. So should be a good one. The March on Quell Danas Raid Finder and Story modes are now available. So for those guys who don't like to raid hardcore but want to still experience the story and everything else, you should be able to do that as well. Exploring the lands, legends, and legacies of Burning Crusade to Midnight. This one right here, talking about taking your first steps into the Dark Portal in the Outland and during the Burning Crusade, or arriving to pick up the story in Azeroth throughout Lorewalker's Chose. We got some extra Lorewalker Cho stuff here. So Lorewalker Cho, if you haven't done the quests already, this has been really cool. I've been enjoying the Lorewalker Cho stuff a lot, going through some story stuff. You also usually get a really cool toy at the end, one that transforms into Arthas or whatever. So checking these things out is pretty cool. And Lorewalker Cho is a really good way to kind of learn some of the lore if you're missing some background context in terms of what has happened in this game before you started playing, if you are in fact new to the game. Arena World Champions are underway, that's right. They began on April 10th and will end on May 3rd. We got 3 rounds of cup action here. No, your boy's not participating. I know everyone expects me to as a previous Arena World Champion, but I'm out. I tapped out a long time ago on that. I just don't have the skills anymore that I used to. And then Noble Garden ends April 13th, so that's today. Make sure you get all your eggs and shit in. If you're watching this on YouTube, you probably only have a couple hours left of this event before servers go down. So quick, run around and get the eggs. Other than that, yeah, I saw somebody already mention this in this chat. Turtle WoW's fucked. I mean, no surprise here. Anyone who thought Turtle WoW was going to win anything, in their court case against Blizzard is absolutely insane living in La La Land. But yeah, we have a total and utter destruction of Turtle WoW, at least in terms of the court findings here. They've released an injunction against Turtle WoW. This is not a delayed injunction. This is immediate. They found no reason to delay the injunction here. Total copyright infringement. Basically, they've told them take down the servers, take down everything. Now, I know people in the comments already will be like, oh, but the servers are overseas. The court has no, court can't do anything here. Well, they're going to do the stuff they can here, including taking down all the websites and everything that are hosted around here. Discord and things like that will probably be gone soon. So anything that has to do with Turtle WoW that can be erased will be erased, essentially making it really hard to access Turtle WoW servers from anywhere in the U.S. at least. So we'll see how that one. Servers go down tomorrow, you boob. Yes, I know. Remember when you bricked Arthas lore walking? I do remember that. Yeah, this case was easy, so Sam might have won it. Yeah, I think anyone could have won this case. It was pretty obvious that they were blatantly infringing Blizzard's IP. So yeah, these things are going to be gone. Private server is probably a thing of the past, honestly. Classic Plus, I'm sure, is going to be announced at BlizzCon. And whether it gives everybody everything they've ever wanted out of a classic version of the game, at least one thing's sure, the progress that you make on that shit will be forever, right? That's always been the problem, I think, with private servers, is you're playing it knowing that just any day now, you could be Thanos snapped out of existence and all of your fucking progress could be gone. So yeah, Turtle WoW, just another private server story where the cheeks eventually got clapped and they are no more. So there you go, another private server taken down. Your Void armor, or your Void version of your Tier 2 armor sets are going to be coming, and these are coming in 12.0.5, but with a little caveat, guys. This might make people a little bit angry here, but we expect to be able to buy these via the new currency, the Field Accolades, right? We're getting these new currencies. Of course, there's always currencies brought into every single patch, and you thought you'd just be able to maybe go buy your armor sets. Well, no, Blizzard's doing something new here. A little bit of RNG involved, that's right. So you won't be able to directly buy any certain piece of tier that you want. Instead, you'll be buying these caches okay, and you'll be having to open it and hope you get the thing you wanted. That's right. So you'll be able to open these things and eventually get the things you want. Now, there is RNG protection built into these things. When a certain class set piece is acquired, it cannot be earned again. While this does help protect against bad luck, the grind may still be painful to eventually get the full set for the class that you want. The numbers could get pretty outrageous. We're talking about 11,900 to complete a specific set. It could cost you up to that amount. This becomes problematic for those who want specific class sets only. Yeah, ew, a loot box, basically. I'm not sure why Blizzard decided to go this route with this. Maybe to prolong content or something. But it's going to take a little bit of time to make sure that you get everything you wanted. This might go down. People sometimes will give feedback, and this shit doesn't end up happening. But for right now, I don't know why Blizzard decided to go with this. I'm not sure if it's going to be fixed to the class. If it's fixed to the class that you're playing on and you buy the loot box on, fine. But if you're getting like Mage tier set on your Death Knight, that's going to be some weird-ass shit. So I don't know how this is going to work exactly yet. But that's how Blizzard's planning on doing it. So we'll see how it all pans out. They're taking a page out of your book, Sam. I guess so, yeah. Get hero track gear from Delves at Journey Tier 9. That's right, if you're currently doing Delves and you're pumping up that Delver's Journey, try to get to Tier 9 if you want to get more and more heroic gear. Right now, once you get to Tier 9, you'll get the achievement from Champion to Heroic, or you'll unlock the from Champion to Heroic thing on your timeline. And what that essentially does is makes this end of end of Delve boss guy, or I should say vendor, able to sell you heroic gear. The gear he drops will now give you heroic level items, so you can go ahead and start using your untainted mana crystals or untainted mana crystals to buy heroic level gear. Now again, you have to get this up to a level 9 on your Delver's Journey, and he appears at the end of any tier 11 delve. But the difference is now he'll be selling you heroic level gear. Remember, his stuff rotates, so every time you do a delve, he might have different shit. So if you want specific things or something really good from him, you might have to run a delve a couple times to eventually get the version of him that actually sells the item you want. But you can use those untainted mana crystals to buy it rather than under coin, so it's a different version of a different currency. But another way to get heroic gear. Level 11 or 9. No, level 9 on your Delver's Journey, tier 11 delve. Okay, that's what two different things. Level 9 is what you want to get to on your Delver's Journey. Tier 11 delves is what you want to run to get Zahran the vendor to show up at the end of your run. So that's how that all works. Is it still just trinkets? Doesn't look like it. It looks like people have seen weapons, cloaks, and other things. So I haven't personally actually interacted with him yet this season, but it looks like he's selling more than trinkets now, so that's a great one. My cloak is still veteran. Well, get your Delver's Journey up to tier 9, and it'll be a little bit better for you. You'll be able to maybe buy a cloak off of him. Moving on to some other very interesting stuff. How's that gray vendor in Stormwind doing? You guys know that Gunther out there to repair gear, or some of these other gray vendors from your cities that maybe you haven't interacted with in a century, a decade, perhaps. So it's been quite a while since any of those vendors have been relevant, but Blizzard plans to change that in 12.0.5, changing how pots and other things work to be based on percentage rather than actual numbers for mana and health and everything else. So yes, those old vendors in your old hub cities may actually be able to scale now with all the other shit going on in the game. So yes, you may be able to buy some actual meaningful stuff from these gray vendors that have kind of have been irrelevant since vanilla WoW. So this is a pretty cool one. I wasn't expecting this. I do think it's cool. Makes the world feel a little bit more immersive, a little bit more alive when this shit's actually still viable in cities.
Another Death Knight.
Kale Sauce, thank you for the Prime. 32 months being a Death Knight. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a nice change, I think. I think it makes the whole world more immersive and brings some relevancy to really old vendors that probably have not interacted with any real players in, like I said, a decade or so. So apples might be important then? Maybe. No promises, but yeah, maybe apples will be important again. 4 Mythic Plus dungeons have hidden buffs. So if you've been running Mythic Plus dungeons, maybe you don't know about some of these, but there are some hidden buffs to run, to get during your runs. We all know about the Algothar Academy ones where you talk to the dragons and you pick which buff you want. But do you guys know about the Magister's Terrace one? That's right. In the Vigilant Libraries, you can go ahead and pick up the Arcane Empowerment debuff for 30 minutes reading the Arcane Tome fills your party with energy, increasing haste by 5% for 30 minutes. This should be buff here. So this is a nice one. You got to pick up that little book there, so you got to sneak around and actually find it. In the Myasara Caverns, going left from the dungeon entrance, player will be able to grab the Ritual Concoction. Yeah, concoction. What am I saying? The Ritual Concoction. The caster coats himself in a fluid that lasts for 30 minutes, causing spells and abilities to have a chance to inflict nature damage. So that's a cool one there. Also, you can go right and grab the Hardy Vile Branch Shrew. This one will increase your leech by 3%, reducing damage taken in area of effect attacks by 3%. That's a nice one for tanks, actually. So I'd pick that one up for sure. Moving on to some other ones here, we have for Nexus Point Xanax, heading towards Kasreth, or Kiev, you'll come across the Core Spikes conduits. These you interact with these objects to get the Core Spike Surge, which will give you inflict 3 arcane damage to enemies within 3 yards of the surge. So this creates some AoE damage here. The conduit redirects the surge energy into the target's nearby allies, empowering them, inflicting 1 arcane damage every 1 second. So a little AoE there. There's a few little things here and there. Did Sam just have a stroke? Maybe. I oftentimes spaz out on fucking stream. Now that's just a natural stat. Everyone knows this. Everyone who does the content, at least. True, but Samiccus speaks to all players. That's right. As a man of the people, he speaks to all the people. Okay, speaking of the people, what are the people running? What's the current meta? What are the numbers looking like? Let's just jump straight into this stuff. Here we go. Mythic plus DPS logs and current season meta. Let's talk about some of this stuff. What's the most played class in the game here? I mean, no surprise. I don't know if this hasn't changed, when the last time this ever changed, but Retribution Paladin still sitting up there as the most played class in the game, followed by Frost Mage, actually in second place right now. I think the Frost Mage is just in a good spot, so a lot of people have recognized that and been having fun playing it. Brewmaster Monk just behind him. Seeing a monk up there is pretty crazy, actually. Demonology Warlock behind them. Restoration Druid, Bestiality Hunter, Unholy Death Knight, Devour Demon Hunter. That's our new class there, sitting up pretty high. Protection Paladin, Restoration Shaman, and then Holy Paladin, Prot Warrior, Elemental Shaman. That kind of rounds up your top boys. The least played classes in the game right now: Fire Mage, Outlaw Rogue, Frost Death Knight, Ass Rogue, Devastation Evoker, Destro Warlock, Arcane Mage, Preservation Evoker, and Survival Hunter. So sitting there at the bottom, kind of the ones that are just really, they're hurting right now. We've seen a lot of these classes hurting in terms of charts and everything. And so that's your bottom, boys. We see your top, boys. Now, what does it mean for the meta, boys? Well, let's check this out real quick. We have our meta charts. And right now, the highest key run was run with a group with a Brewmaster Monk, an Unholy Death Knight, Restoration Druid. We see a Demonology Warlock, Augmentation Evoker, and Devour Demon Hunter. So the main 5 here were Devour Demon Hunter, Augmentation Evoker, Restoration Druid, Unholy DK, and Brewmaster Monk. No surprise with the healers, and Augmentation right now is super... it's something that a lot of people are using in Mythic Plus. They're back, I would say. Augmentation is definitely back as one that people are using a lot. The most run... The full numbers, we already saw this. Retribution Paladin is brought more than any other class. But looking at the overall, okay, the number 1 comp, we just mentioned it. You got Frost Death Knight, Devour Demon Hunter, Unholy DK, Restoration Druid, and Brewmaster Monk. So that's your number 1 comp there. That's the comp that's being run more than any other one. The only difference here is the second most run in terms of the comps that are being run the most often. We see Frost Mage being replaced with Augmentation Evoker. As I mentioned before, Augmentation Evoker showing up a lot. And then another one that shows up in the third comp here, we see Retribution Paladin showing up as one of the DPS specs. So these right now, those top 3 groups are kind of pulling away from the rest in terms of the ones that are brought on the most. Frost Death Knight, did I say Frost Death Knight? I meant Frost Mage. Yeah, so these ones are being brought more than any other one, and not surprising, these classes are specifically leading in DPS. Also, Brewmaster Monk right now is just having a good old time in terms of tanking. They're doing more than any other tank, so they're good. And for healing, Restoration Druid, I mean, they are by far and away the most used healer. What is this, a top 15 or 10 groups here are all using Restoration Druid? And then maybe you got 1 Restoration Shaman showing up here. So tons of people using Restoration Druid. They are by far and away the biggest healer class right now being used. Looking overall at the DPS charts, we've looked at some of this stuff. Augmentation Evoker leading right now. Unholy DK behind them. Demonology Warlock, Devourer, Demon Hunter, and Ass Rogue just behind them. Looking at all percentiles, everyone right now built up. So this looks right here at the top keys, 13 to 21. The biggest DPSers right now. And this changes a bit from what we've seen prior. But right now, the biggest numbers are actually being pulled off by Demonology Warlocks. They are currently your S tier DPS spec. So looking right now at the groups that are being brought in terms of meta, they're not bringing Demonology Warlock. But when you're looking at the top keys, basically your most geared boys pumping and rotating perfectly, you're seeing Demonology Warlock actually pump harder than anybody else. There, right behind them is Unholy DK, followed by Augmentation Evoker, Devour Demon Hunter, Retribution Paladin, and Arms Warrior. Those kind of round up your S to B tier, and then you get into C tier with everybody else. At the very bottom, devastating, but Devastation Evoker down here, Frost Death Knight, Fire Mage, Windwalker Monk, Arcane Mage, Druid, Balanced Druid, and Survival Hunter. Those are your bottom boys right now. Right now, your biggest mover up since the last time we looked at any of these charts, 7 spots. Ass Rogue is currently 7 spots up since the last time these charts were done a week ago. So those changes to Ass Rogue have really brought them up quite a bit. And the biggest mover down, Frost Mage. Frost Mage, actually no, Elemental Shaman, down 9 spots. We did see Elemental Shaman got some weird changes. I'm not sure why. I saw somebody in the comments say Blizzard seeing Elemental Shaman struggle decides to nerf them. I don't know what that means in terms of where they want Elemental Shaman to go forward from here, but yeah, they're definitely hurting right now. So remember, take all this with a grain of salt. You know, play what you enjoy playing, but these are the numbers, these are the stats, and for now, that is all in terms of news.